A new school year is almost here, and that means students will not only be hitting the books, but a lot of them will get back into sports. However, juggling classes, practices, games, it can also take a toll on young athletes and impact their mental health. So it is important for parents and coaches to recognize the signs of distress. So joining us today is Miranda Jenkins. She is a social worker with York Suburban, and she is also the head men and women's swim coach. So first of all, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yeah.
You have a lot of different perspectives, right? Kind of juggling both of the jobs that you have. So tell us why it is so important from the get-go, before the school year even starts, to make sure that there is a healthy balance for kids who are heading back to school and student athletes.
I think it's really important to start from the beginning because it gives kids a safe space to really be authentically who they are. And the idea of what we're trying to do through mental health and athletics is create a culture and climate on and off the field through coaches and parents where kids really feel safe and supported and to be who they are. And if they aren't doing okay, that they have a space to go to be able to ask for that help that they might need.
And there's a lot of pressure on these kids sometimes. Sometimes it's put on by external sources, sometimes it's put on just by themselves.
Right.
How do you talk through that with athletes?
Yeah, performance anxiety is huge, and a lot of young people, look at their value through how they perform on the field or how they perform in a school setting or how they perform with their family. So how we like to address it is what is the one key takeaway that they can learn through that failure, specifically on the swim team, right? It's very individual based. So what is something good that we can take away even if they didn't perform it the way that they thought that they should, or the way that they thought that their parent thinks that they should perform.
Now, you guys have an initiative that you guys are working on. Explain that.
Yeah, so the initiative is through the York Adams Interscholastic Athletic Association. So we are holding a symposium on August 27th at York College. It's designed to provide parents and coaches with resources and support on how to talk to their children about athletics and mental health, and then also for coaches how to create a culture and climate that's positive, to learn a little bit about mental health, depression, anxiety, suicide, and how do I support those student athletes or children in the home. And then during the entire event, there will be like a wellness vendor fair where we'll have local community resources available. If families need direct interventions, they'll be able to get some information about those as well.
And it's so important to talk about this at the beginning of the school year before things really get rolling, but it's really, really important when you're in the thick of things, because
Yes.
it's easy to talk about now when you're not juggling all that stuff,
Right.
but it gets harder as you get to October or winter or spring. So how do you approach that?
So our goal is to offer something in the winter and then again in the spring so that we can keep the conversation going to continue to bring awareness, education, and resources to coaches, students, and families. There's a big, known saying, March Madness and then the craziness of May as we wrap up the school year. But kids function, year round. So the more that we can continue to talk about it and the more that it can be present in people's minds, I think is how we start to create change and really supporting the future of our children.
Absolutely, and something that sometimes may fall to the back burner. Some things we don't think about as we're worried about buying the supply list and everything for kids as they head back to class. Well, Miranda, thanks so much for being with us today. Again, that symposium will be on Sunday, August 27th at York College. A wellness fair goes from 5:30 to 7:30, and then the coaches session will take place from 6 to 7. There's a parent session too. That one's from 7 to 8. We have all this information. You can check it out on fox43.com.